Top of the morning to the top of the night, whatever the case may be. My name's Ben Matthews. I am who I say I am. The world government ain't trust me on that. I know these things. How you all doing out there tonight? Good, I hope and pray. Me? I'm doing a lot better. I got over that virus. As you that follow me on my YouTube channel, you know that I experiment with the chemicals they're spraying on you and your children, your husband, wife, sister, brother, mother, father, etc., etc. And in testing these chemicals, I sometimes get sick. And that's what happened. I caught a real bad flu virus. So it's the worst one I ever had, people. And I'm pretty healthy. So you can expect a pretty bad flu virus this winter. Just putting it out there for you to know it. On the 4th, you had an earthquake in Texas. They ain't really saying what caused that or anything. So if anybody knows, maybe they could leave a comment in the comment section. Then later that night, you had one in Oklahoma. They're saying it's a possibility that it was a gas injection. But they don't know. Just a possibility. Sounds like a cover story to me. Then later that night, you had an explosion earthquake in Illinois. They're trying to say it came from a quarry. But none of the quarries in that area take responsibility, and there's no permits issued for explosion. And the local residents say it was the loudest tremor they ever felt. They said it sounded more like it came from deep within the ground than the quarries. There you go. Then later that night in Michigan, not being reported, earthquake. The earth shook. We heard real weird sounds. I posted a video. We all listened to it. Use it, don't, go back and check it out. It's pretty cool. Well, what caused all that? Well, I explained before about glacier rebounding. When the ice came from the north down towards the south, all that pressure pushed down upon the earth. Well, when it retrieved it back towards the north, all that pressure let up. In that point in time when it let up, it caused the Madrid fault line. All this area here. Now, the glacier rebounding pressures is happening around the Great Lakes area. Now, I'd like to bring to your attention something. The weird sounds that are being heard throughout the world, when the videos started first being posted, and you go back and do the research for this, the first people that started posting videos of the weird sounds were the people around the Great Lakes area. Okay? And the sounds they were posting sounded nothing like trumpets. Okay? When that trumpet's blown, the whole world's going to hear it. No. The sounds that were being posted first around the Great Lakes areas were all the same sound, and I'm going to explain that here in a minute. Now, I talk a lot about, in my videos, about the salt domes. The salt caves, excuse me. The natural salt caves, and they mine for salt all around the Great Lakes. Most likely, the table salt on your table probably come from the Great Lakes. And, like I said, they mine all over the Great Lakes for salt. But there's natural salt caves all over the Great Lakes too. Okay? And what happened was last night, and I explained this before in one of my videos. I explained what happened exactly a long time ago. This area here is called Thunder Bay. There's a reason it's called Thunder Bay. See, all this area here, all this used to be all land. All this used to be all land. And underneath it was a what? A giant salt cave. Well, that wall right here gave way, and all that water rushed in, and all that collapsed. That's why it's called Thunder Bay. The Indians that lived around here a long time ago, they witnessed it. They knew what happened. And there's salt caves all around the Great Lakes. Well, with the glacier rebounding going on, with all that earth that's pushing up, it's causing these salt caves to cave in. And that's why people are hearing these weird sounds. What they're actually hearing, and the one I believe that happened, I believe it happened up in between this area here. Somewhere. I'm not too sure yet. And I'm not saying that the ground caved in, but the cave was underneath and the wall gave way and all that water rushed in, and that's the sound you're hearing. That's what I said, that at first I thought it was coming from. That's why everybody always keeps looking up towards the sky, because you always think it's coming from the sky. But once you're standing outside on solid ground and you feel the earth shaking and moving, then you understand it's coming from underneath you. And that's what happened. All that water's rushing in underneath the earth into that salt cave, and that sound's coming up through the earth. And of course, the earth's distorting the sound, so you don't actually hear the water, but that's what you hear is water. Go back and listen to the video. You can understand now. That's actually water rushing into one of them salt caves that caved in last night. And that's being caused by glacier rebounding. Now later on, and I talked about what happens with Nibiru in the Great Lakes. I explained that. That's later on down the road. You have nothing to worry about that right now. But when that does happen, this lake here, Lake Huron, it sits higher than Lake Michigan, okay? And when the glacier rebounding, when the earth uplifts, it stops the flow of all this water towards the Atlantic. And all that stops, that flow of that water stops. And then later on now, when the pole shift happens, all this water from the great Lake Huron rushes into Lake Michigan. And all that water rushes down. All the way down, and that's where you get your future map from. That's where they're getting it from. I know where they're getting it from. They're getting it from me. I've been telling them. All this water rushes down during the pole shift. All this water no longer runs towards the Atlantic Ocean. It stops when the uplift happens. This is just before the pole shift. So all this water is cut off, and there's no more flow of water running this way. And all this water in Lake Huron, like I said, then comes the pole shift, and all this water turns, and this sits much lower, and all this floods down. It floods all the way down. And then you got to remember Lake Superior. It sits higher than all the lakes, and all that water runs all the way down, just like I said, all the way down to the Mississippi, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And that's where they get their future map from. You know, God said He will divide a country right down the middle. He sure ain't lying. Well, anyway, I hope that helps you understand what them sounds were last night. It's exactly what it was. I know it is. Peace and love be that of God and God's army, because you are an army to fear, and so is the truth, and they fear the truth, and they fear me.